Okay, this should be fun. I talk about the city of Denver almost exclusively on this channel, and obviously I'm a pretty big advocate, but like anything, opinions differ. And honestly, just go look at the comments on my videos. Some of them are very positive, and some of them are not. It's almost a given that anytime a video gets a certain amount of exposure, there's someone or someone's commenting on it about, ugh, Denver overcrowded, traffic, homelessness, unaffordable, blah, blah, blah. Am I writing off those concerns and saying there's no truth to any of them? No, of course I'm not. But the point I'm making is there are differences in the perception about this city. So what I wanted to do today is read some reviews. Yes, reviews of Denver, Colorado. Number one, yes, you can review a city. You might not have known this. And let's go look at those reviews, the good, the bad, the ugly, and see what people are saying. And I will give you my thoughts. So we're going to go to a website I have mentioned before on this channel, niche.com or niche.com if you're fancy. This website gathers information, data, and yes, opinions on different places to give you an idea of what it's like living there. And they do grades. So niche.com here for Denver. Number one, it's the 11th best city for young professionals in America. Not bad, but you get the lay of the land. Like I said, they grade things. So you're seeing the overall niche grade is an A- for Denver. Not too shabby either. You can look at the full report card. That's not what we're doing today, but they graded on schools, housing, diversity, nightlife, all that stuff. Interesting. Nightlife, Denver has an A+. I didn't see that coming. Crime and safety, C-, also surprising to me. And housing, they give a C- as well, probably due to housing prices. But what we want to drill down on today is the reviews. So you can see 1,249 people thought it would be a good use of their time to log on to niche.com and leave a review of Denver, Colorado. Not something I've personally ever done, but I do appreciate that there are those folks out there because we can go look and see what they've said and give us an idea of what the public thinks. So we're going to start with the good and move slowly down the scale to the downright awful. And what you'll notice right away is despite some of the naysayers that I mentioned earlier, Denver actually has very good reviews. It's got a 4-star average, and the majority of reviews are very good or excellent. There's actually only 20 1-star reviews out of this whole bunch. Surprising to me, especially considering the type of person that uses their time to log on and review something. Usually that means they had an excellent experience or more likely a really, really bad experience. But here it's surprisingly weighted to the good. So let's start with the 5-star reviews. What do we got here right at the top? I like that Denver is rather realistic representation of the current youth of the US. Okay. At the same time, it's not perfect. Every place you go, there will be issues. That's just how the world is, full of people and issues. Current resident, 16 days ago, I think you just summed it up. That really says everything, and there's a remarkable amount of wisdom in this 3-sentence review. We could end it there, but what fun would that be? The second one, lived here all my life. Solid. Do not move here. I beg you. Please. We don't want any more people. Thanks. Okay. This is a common refrain you'll see. It's, oh, don't move to Colorado. We're all full. I live here and I like it. And so I wanted not to be more crowded. I've said this before. I get that people don't want more crowds. I don't want more crowds. I loathe crowds. And I don't like this term, but gatekeeping a city or state seems unfathomable to me. Even if you were born here, what you're trying to say, no, nobody else come here. I deserve to be here, but you don't. Yes, they're making a joke. And yes, it was kind of funny the first time I heard it. That was about 20 years ago. See what else we got from a month ago. Denver's a beautiful city to visit and live in. Agreed. Outdoor walking and biking trails, reservoirs, camping areas. Nightlife is upbeat. You'll never run out of restaurants to try. These things are true. In my experience, anyway. Large diversity of people. Okay. Only downfall to this wonderful place would be the traffic. Yes, traffic isn't great. It's not terrible, but it has gotten worse the last 3-4 years. Let's check out one more. I love Denver. I moved here almost a decade ago on a whim, and 9 years later, I'm still here. Everyone's friendly. I do agree. There's friendly people in Denver overall. Being so close to the mountains is nice, but you still get the city life feel. Yes, that seems to be one of the biggest benefits of our fair city, in my estimation. Obviously, the proximity to the mountains is a big draw. That's why so many people flock to Denver, but it is still a legitimate city, and so that's cool. Versus some other cities, like some people compare compare it to Salt Lake City, which is closer to the ski hills. That might be 30 to 45 minutes to the base of a mountain, much closer than many places in Denver. And Salt Lake City isn't nothing, but it's a different vibe. If you've been there, and you've been here, you get it. So that's the 5-star reviews. Now let's go look at the 4-star reviews. Let's go look at the people who don't rate Denver excellent, but merely very good. Here's what I like. It's a long one. I won't read the whole thing, but great mountain and cityscapes, most beautiful scenery in the country, some of the most, agreed with that. Outdoor lifestyle, city boasts over 300 days of sunshine a year. That's a bit of an inflation. We've talked about that before, but the point remains, very sunny climate. However, it does have its drawbacks. One is the cost of living. Yes, I'd agree with that. Traffic congestion is another issue the Denver residents face. We already touched on that. City's infrastructure has struggled to keep pace with its rapid growth. I think this does go towards the traffic point as well, but I would agree. I-25, I-70, those roads were built for a less populated city, and that's the reason that they're congested so much of the time. Air quality can be a concern. This is an interesting one, and kind of an original point, at least as far as the discussions many of us have online about Denver. This is technically true, okay? Denver's air quality at times can get bad. A lot of that has to do with the elevation, I'm told, and the amount of oxygen in the air or lack thereof. It's easier for pollutants to stick around. I'm not a scientist, so yes, I know I'm probably getting some of this wrong, but Denver's air quality at times does get poor to not great, and at least from my understanding, the reason for that is not because we have so much pollution. It's actually a pretty clean city as far as pollution goes, but just because the makeup of the air in the Mile High City. Here's one more from 3 months ago. Denver has been a great place to live. There are some places that I don't feel as safe, but there are other places right next to that where I do, and that is very true in my estimation. True in many cities, true here too. You can go a few blocks over from something that seems a little seedy and feel totally normal and probably be totally safe. That's city living, baby. All right, so enough of the good. Let's head on to average, the 3-star reviews. These are the people who logged on and said, Denver, take it or leave it. The first one starts with a familiar refrain. Denver used to be a great place. This is what people say much of the time, especially when, look at this, they were born and raised here. Ton of things to do outdoors, which is the biggest plus of living here. Nowadays, everything is too expensive, overcrowded, crime through the roof, not very safe anymore. Some of this is true. Some of it's an embellishment. Overall, much of it is things aren't like they used to be. You know that whole thing, kids these days? I feel like we do get sucked into that a little bit when discussing this city or any city. Back in my day, things were better. In a way, they probably were, but then in another way, they were probably worse too. Fewer restaurants, fewer bike lanes, honestly. They didn't have Uber when you grew up, I'm assuming. That's a plus. Progress is never simply good or simply bad. It's always a mixed bag. Speaking of progress, let's check out this 3-star review. Denver is a great city that still needs to make more progress. Interesting. The unhoused issue, also known as homelessness, depending on how you want to call it, needs much more attention and local education. I would agree with that. So let's talk about the homelessness issue a little bit here. So I've talked about this, I don't want to say ad nauseum, but a fair amount on this channel. Homelessness in Denver. Is it awful? No. Does it exist? Yes. Is it mostly limited to certain areas, but occasionally popping up in some areas you wouldn't expect? Yes. Like many U.S. cities, around the time of the COVID lockdowns and shortly thereafter, homelessness became a bigger problem. I don't know. I don't know why that happened. I don't know what needs to happen to make it better, but everybody sort of agrees that this is an issue that needs some attention, and it's getting some attention. The mayor, Mike Johnson, made this kind of the central point of his platform, ending homelessness. Has he done it? Shockingly, no, not yet. But if the city is truly working on it, then I am optimistic that things will improve. As it stands, is this an impediment to living in Denver? No, in my opinion. That's just my honest opinion. Are there certain very small pockets or blocks that if homelessness bothers you, and it bothers a lot of people, do you want to stay away from? Yes, probably. But overall, here's the thing about this conversation. I think we all agree that less homelessness or unhoused people, if you will, would be better. And it is an issue we need to make progress on. I think just overall, nobody really can agree how to do that. And I think that's probably because it's a very complex issue and there is no easy answer. Also says public transportation needs improvement. Agree with that. It's okay. It's not great, but people are very friendly and optimistic, giving this city a fresh breath of hope. I like that. That was a good way to end this review. Next one. Denver is great if you are an upper or middle class cis white male. I mean, I guess that would describe me. Maybe that's why I like it here. Public resources are scarce. The job market and housing market are oversaturated. Hold on. Housing market, yes. Job market? Just a quick Google search right here. The first result from May of this year says Denver was named a national leader for living wage jobs. At the time of this article, they're saying the true rate of unemployment in 2023 was 23% in the US overall, and in Denver it was only 16%. So lower unemployment, i.e. better job market in Denver than nationally. And here I am, fact-checking niche.com reviews of Denver. Probably a fool's errand, but hey, we're having fun. Here's one more. Denver is a dirty, grimy city that's way too expensive. The homelessness is so sad and out of control. That seems extreme. There are a lot of fun things to do, but unfortunately it's overshadowed by the impossible cost of living. Well, hold on. We're not Tokyo here. A bit amped up, this particular review. I think there are some truths in there, but they may have been embellished just a little bit. All right. Enough messing around. Let's get to the bad ones. Let's get to the 2-star reviews, the people who are calling the Denver experience poor. Out of 1,249 reviews, there are 27 2-star reviews. Let's take a look. Number 1. First of all, sentence structure. Questionable. Lots of exclamation points. Capitalizing the first letter in a sentence? There is a space before the comma. I'm not judging. Just pointing these things out. This place has become so bad. From expensive food, going out, homeless everywhere. Expensive food, I get. Prices have gone up, not just here, but nationally. Inflation, it's no fun. People defecating in my backyard, well, that's awful. That would make me leave a 2-star review of the city. People urinating in public, I don't feel safe anymore either. I haven't seen the defecating and urinating, but I'm sure it happened. Now there are illegal immigrants begging for money all over. They come to my door asking for money. Terrible, terrible. So 7 or 8, 9 exclamation points. Scary and unsafe. Taxes are sky high too. Well, that's not true. You didn't have to throw that in. Real estate taxes were still in the bottom 10 in the nation. Sales tax were right around the median. I don't know what this is. Not affordable. That's how I read that in my head. That's what happens. Not affordable is true. What else we got going on here? Okay, here's another 2-star review. I've lived all over the U.S. and visited almost every U.S. state. Cannot speak for other years, but in 2023, Denver's not worth it. You can learn a lot about culture, the culture of a city from its food scene. If that's true, Denver is soulless. Get ready for Chipotle, Taco Bell, etc. Okay, first of all, don't come for Chipotle, all right? Yes, get ready for Chipotle. This is the birthplace of Chipotle. And Chipotle serves a vital national service of fast, casual, whole food, calorie-dense burritos and such. Is every time for Chipotle? No. But is there a time for Chipotle? Absolutely. Taco Bell? Listen, I'm not going to come out and defend, but post-concert cheesy gordita crunch, 2 of them? Rarely have I experienced such euphoria. And here's the thing. I mean, just look around my channel. I mean, I have a lot to say about the Denver food scene, if you will. And aside from Chipotle and Taco Bell, there are a lot of great restaurants in Denver in different classes. Fine dining, more fast casual food trucks. If you can learn a lot about the culture of a city from its food scene, I think we're actually doing okay. Second paragraph, because there are paragraphs in this review. The paradox of Denver is how progressive the city votes, coupled with how truly unwelcoming the people are. See, I just don't feel that that's the case, that the people are unwelcoming. We have a more Midwestern vibe, in my estimation, than cities on the coast who have more coastal vibes. And I believe ours is more hospitable and welcoming. This is backed up to me by almost every client that I help move to town from a different place. I would say 95% of them have mentioned something. Seriously, 95% of them have mentioned something on their own to me about, wow, people are really friendly here. So I don't know. I just disagree. It goes on. Working in Denver, I witnessed adults throw middle school-esque tantrums. Well, that's definitely true. That happens. Adults are throwing tantrums everywhere at all times. I don't think it's limited to Denver. It is sad, and we all have our moments. Mental health crisis in the city, perhaps caused by the altitude that people brush aside. Interesting. I have not heard that theory. What has soured Denver completely for me is the people, which are the most unpleasant of any so-called progressive city I've visited. This seems like a personal vendetta against maybe one or two or a group of folks. Something tells me this isn't an evaluation of the 1 million+ people in the Denver metro. Don't give this place your hard-earned money to experience a Midwestern vibe with a coastal price tag. Well, hold on now. Midwestern vibe? Unfriendly? I take exception to this. Coastal price tag? Yeah, we're getting there. This city has me missing cities that I find utterly miserable. Well, listen. Hey, for this particular resident, it didn't work out. Okay, here's another one. I'm not trying to sound like one of those insane people who thinks white people are the true victims or anything like. Okay, you know what? We're going to move on. Next 2-star review. It's really expensive to live in Denver. The average cost for a 1-bedroom apartment is over $1,750. I don't know if that's the average cost for a 1-bedroom. That's just the average rent. Homes are going for almost over $500,000 in bad neighborhoods with terrible schools. That is true. Not saying anything about terrible schools because that can mean a bunch of different things. I'm not saying anything about bad neighborhoods, but to find a single-family home under $500,000 in Denver in a neighborhood you really like and a house that's in good shape is tough. Okay, here's one. Denver is a transient city where a lot of young people come and go very quickly. The pros, it's slightly cheaper overall than, say, Los Angeles. I'd say significantly, but okay. Decent access to the mountains. Weather is bipolar, but mostly enjoyable. It has decent food and lots of bars. I'm a little more positive about some of those, but fair enough. The cons. The dating scene is a joke, with many damaged women relocating there because they know they will have the pick of the litter. Can't speak to the dating scene. Been married a long time. Some used to refer to Denver as Menver because of the makeup demographically of the city. I don't know if that's still the case or not. Real estate market is beyond inflated and is going to eventually crash. Well, I got some videos for you on that one. The people are some of the worst, ranging from soy boy Midwesterners to angry natives to waspy basic millennials to outright psychopaths. That's kind of funny. I actually have respect for this review, and we'll move on to the 1 stars after this. It's not a grown-up city. It's a city with really stupid people that don't want to work hard and play outside all day. I can't say that that's totally inaccurate. State legislature is terribly liberal, trying to turn it into SoCal, whereas the people are mostly the opposite and pretty conservative. You do hear complaints about liberal government and liberal policies a lot, at least I do. But if the people are mostly pretty conservative, they're voting these people in. So I'm not sure how that works. Think of all the bad things about being conservative and liberal, because Denver is a nice combination of both. Listen, this is from 2019. This is former resident. I want to have a conversation with this person because I think it would be fun. I respect it. Okay, enough of that. Let's get down to brass tacks. You know what I mean. The 1-star reviews. The 20 people who logged on and classified Denver as terrible. Here we go. First review. Typo in the second word. Our DeSauters live in Denver. I'm guessing they mean daughters. We drove from PA for our daughter's nailed it wedding. While parking overnight at the Avid Hotel near the airport, our vehicle was broken into and damaged. Well, that's near the airport. But no, still, no one should be broken into. I would be surprised if that would happen out there, actually. When speaking with hotel management, we were told this is a common issue. When speaking with Denver PD, this is an everyday occurrence. Nothing they can do about it. Well, that's a bummer. They're saying it's an organized group, organized crime. I didn't know about this. This does seem to be an isolated incident at one hotel near the airport, and we're doing a 1-star review of the entire city. But let's move on. And by move on, I mean keep reading this review. Also, the camera in the area was not working. Well, we're still on the hotel thing. I worked as a trooper in the PA State Police. This would not have occurred in Pennsylvania. Nowhere in Pennsylvania would this have occurred. Hotels and Denver PD make the customers aware that the higher crime rate. Do not stay at hotels near the airport. Well, listen, that was a full-throated and very thorough review of a hotel near the airport. So, something to keep in mind. Next, horrible place to visit. They want to charge parking everywhere you go. Yeah, it's true, especially in the central parts of the city. Not everywhere, just downtown, really. Never again will visit this place or recommend it to friends or family. Now, hold on. Was this experience, again, I'd like to follow up here, but I'm not able. If you're watching, please comment. Was this experience horrible just because they charge for parking? Because they didn't mention anything else. That would be an interesting 1-star review. Next review, the mayor and city council are terrible. 2 months ago. As a result, homelessness is exploding, but they are taking away funds from homeless people to buy new phones, but they're and laptops for illegal immigrants. Okay, didn't know about that program. Denver has had a lot of immigration recently from south of the border. Haven't noticed a huge change in the way things run around here, other than the news articles I was reading about it. All right, here's another 1-star review. I've lived in Denver for 17 years and can't wait to get out. For me, the cons far outweigh the pros of living here. Right? This seems reasonable, okay? This is a person's opinion, and they capitalize, they use punctuation. Let's see where this goes. Housing prices are ridiculous, okay? Crime, car thefts, shootings, property crime are daily occurrences. I don't know. You can look up crime stats. I mean, I just don't see it. I'm not an imposing person. I do fine. Over the last 50 years, I've spent a great deal of time in other states, and Denver has some of the rudest, most aggressive drivers I've ever experienced. I will say the drivers here tend to be impatient. Sometimes I'm impatient. I'll admit it, okay? There's also trash everywhere. Now, homeless situation, full-blown crisis now. You're seeing that. You're seeing that narrative. Once a decent downtown area has become a war zone with tense panhandlers, human feces, used needles, and trash everywhere, and smells like urine and marijuana most everywhere you go. Okay, listen, like I said before, I do think we need to do some work on this situation. War zone where this stuff is everywhere? No. I was just downtown yesterday. I had a lovely time. Oh, let's not leave out the wind here. Wow, that was a dramatic shift. It's very windy regularly, which for an outdoor enthusiast ruins most activities. The wind ruins the activities. This is someone who's an enthusiast about being outdoors, and the wind ruins it. Golf, tennis, biking, and being on the limited water they do have here. Needless to say, Denver is vastly overrated. It can get windy here. Is it crazy windy all the time? I don't think so, but we do have spells where it's windy for a while. All right, here's another one. City is disgusting. It is filthy, dangerous, and scary to walk around. I pay $2,700 a month for a 1-bedroom apartment where cars are broken into or completely stolen on a daily basis. Now, if you're paying $2,700 a month for a 1-bedroom, you're probably in a more prime location. At least that's what I see available in that price range out there. So I don't know. Homeless problem, completely out of control. You're getting the hyperbole here. Food is subpar. How dare you? And there's nothing particularly interesting about this city. Have you been to Casa Bonita? I think Denver as a city doesn't try that hard because it thinks its proximity to the mountains will carry it, and it's just not worth the hype. Well, that's interesting. That is an interesting idea. I like that. That is one theory. Here's another one. Born and raised in Denver, 1970s baby. All right, let's see where this goes. It was awesome growing up there with diversity, culture, and community. Now all that is gone. All of it. There's none of any of that. I never thought I would dislike the state, but over the past 5 years, it got awful. This is from 2021. Too many people moving there who are rude or aggressive. This year, my family moved to the south. Best decision ever as we go forward to a more calm, hospitable area. Well, that's nice. Good. I am happy for you, former resident. And maybe this is a great point, like that this person's making. It's interesting they reviewed Denver online, but nothing's for everybody. And maybe this city isn't for everybody. And this city clearly wasn't for this person, and they moved somewhere and they said that was the best decision ever. So actually best decision even, but they meant best decision ever. So great. This 1-star review actually makes me happy because this city was not right for this person. So number one, they left, which is what the other half of people that are complaining are asking for people to leave so it gets less crowded. And then they found a place that was a better fit for them. That is a beautiful thing. Here's one from April 2020. What was going on back then? Don't remember. Denver is by far the worst place I've ever lived and the worst place that I could even imagine living in. The people here are so incredibly fake and mean. As a size 10 woman, I'm going to the gym, getting shamed, and I've never been made fun of for never not been made, really get made fun of. She's saying that she gets made fun of every time she goes to the gym. It's no good. We try to be encouraging here. I've had so many people even unwilling to talk to me or be friendly to me, being that I am a transplant. Well, listen, I'm a transplant, and I wouldn't say it's that bad. But yes, there is a pretentiousness that comes with some people who were born here. Even if someone is nice, chances are they are talking blank behind your back, don't want to get demonetized, probably already did. Additionally, getting hired here is so hard. The job market pretty much requires a connection to even get an interview. Okay. I applied for over 300 jobs before even getting an interview. That does sound tough and not like a good experience. Again, April 2020, job market, a bit of a special circumstance. All right. One more one-star review. I'm technically a native of Denver, and the city has become a hostile city with homeless zombies roaming the streets, desperately trying to survive. The garbage spewing around every corner and architecturally uninspiring buildings leave you demoralized and depressed, hungering for Munich. And I think, my friend, I will leave you with that. And one question. What would you rate Denver? Scale of 1 to 5. Let me know below. It has been my serene pleasure reading through this list with you and weighing in, and I'd like you to weigh in too. Otherwise, thanks for getting to the end with me. I'll see you soon.